Hey friends, and welcome back to Learn English Podcast Every Day. I'm so glad you're here with me today. In our quiet little corner of the internet, we learn English not by rushing through textbooks, but by truly sinking into stories, reflecting on our daily lives, and discovering how beautifully language can connect us to the world around us. Our aim is to make learning feel like a gentle conversation, a personal journey where every word feels like a new friend. There's no pressure here, just a calm space for you to relax, listen, and let the sounds of English wash over you. We explore real-life situations, the kind you might encounter every single day, turning them into opportunities for us to grow more confident, step by soft step. If today's episode brings you a little comfort, a little insight, or helps you feel just a bit more confident in your English journey, I would truly appreciate it if you considered liking this episode, subscribing to our channel, or perhaps leaving a kind comment below. It helps our little community grow, and it means the world to me. Thank you for being here. Now get comfortable. Maybe pour yourself a warm cup of tea, and let's settle into this moment together. Sometimes the most valuable lessons come not from a textbook, but from a vivid memory, a feeling, or a quiet observation. Today, I want to take you on a little journey, a journey that for many of us involves a remarkable experience: flying. I remember one particular flight, not long ago, that truly brought home the importance of English in our global world. It was an early morning flight, the kind where the airport is still waking up, filled with a gentle hum of anticipation. I recall walking through the terminal, the scent of coffee mingling with that distinct airport aroma, and the soft murmur of countless languages creating a beautiful, chaotic symphony. As I approached the gate, a sense of quiet excitement began to build in my chest. You know that feeling, don't you? That mix of adventure and a tiny flicker of nervousness that comes with stepping into the unknown, even when it's a familiar journey. Boarding began, and I followed the slow stream of passengers, each of us carrying our own stories, our own destinations. Stepping onto the airplane always feels a little like entering a different world. The narrow aisle, the rows of seats waiting, the gentle smiles of the flight attendants welcoming us aboard. I found my seat, a window seat, which is always my preferred spot. I love watching the world shrink below as we ascend. I carefully stowed my small bag in the overhead compartment, pushing it in until it clicked securely into place, then settled into my seat, fastening the seatbelt with a soft click. The cabin began to fill, and soon the doors were closed, sealing us in this metal tube, hurtling towards the sky. There was that familiar, low hum of the engines beginning to spool up, a deep, comforting vibration that resonates through the floor. Then, the voice came over the intercom. It was calm, clear, and professional, delivering the pre-flight safety announcements. Even though I've heard them countless times, I always listen. It's not just about the words, but the rhythm, the tone, the implicit reassurance in their delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard, followed by instructions on seatbelts, oxygen masks, emergency exits. Each phrase, each instruction, so vital. As we taxied slowly towards the runway, I found myself watching a flight attendant discreetly check each seatbelt, her movements fluid and purposeful. She spoke briefly to a passenger in front of me, a soft, polite exchange. It was then, in that quiet moment before takeoff, as the plane paused at the threshold of the runway, that a thought truly crystallized in my mind. How much of this entire experience, from the boarding passes to the announcements to any unexpected conversation, relies on a shared language? The takeoff itself was exhilarating. A powerful surge forward, a gentle lift, and then the world tilting as we climbed higher and higher, clouds like cotton candy stretched out beneath us. Once we reached cruising altitude, the seatbelt sign chimed off, and a new phase of the journey began. People started to move about gently, stretch, or reach for their books. The cabin crew began their service, moving through the aisles with trolleys, offering drinks and snacks. The air was filled with hushed conversations, the clinking of glasses, and the gentle rustle of magazines. And then it happened. A slight tremor, a gentle rock of the aircraft. Nothing alarming, but noticeable. Almost immediately, the intercom clicked on again. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are currently experiencing a brief patch of light turbulence. For your comfort and safety, please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Our apologies for any inconvenience." The voice was calm, reassuring, but the words were specific, important. In that moment, I realized the immense value of understanding every single word, every instruction, every nuance. It wasn't just about ordering a drink. It was about safety, about feeling secure, about being able to navigate an unexpected situation. What if I hadn't understood patch of light turbulence or remain seated? What if I needed to ask for something or report something and couldn't find the right words? This environment, while seemingly controlled and routine, is a microcosm of real-world communication, where clarity and politeness are key. It got me thinking about all the little exchanges that happen on a flight. Asking for a blanket, excusing yourself to use the lavatory, explaining if you're not feeling well, or even just confirming your meal choice. These aren't complex philosophical discussions, but they are crucial for a smooth and comfortable journey. They are real conversations happening in real time, often with people from different backgrounds and different accents. So often, we learn English from textbooks, which is wonderful. But the true magic happens when we can apply it in dynamic, real-life situations like this. An airplane isn't just a mode of transport, it's a living classroom, a place where phrases like "fasten your seatbelt," "overhead bin," "lavatory," and "turbulence" become more than just words on a page. They become part of an experience, part of your ability to move through the world confidently and comfortably. And that, my dear friends, is why today we're going to gently explore the fascinating world of English on the airplane, real conversation, vocabulary. We'll step onto that plane together, explore the words and phrases you truly need, understand the common announcements you'll hear, and even practice those polite ways to ask for help or describe your journey. It's about empowering you to feel completely at ease, whether you're soaring through the sky or simply dreaming of your next adventure. Now, after that little journey into the general feeling of flight, let's gently land on some specific words and phrases that truly open up the world of English on an airplane. These aren't just words. They are keys to understanding announcements, asking for what you need, and even talking about your experiences after you land. I'll introduce each one slowly, give you a gentle explanation, and then offer you a chance to say them aloud, if you feel comfortable. Remember, this isn't a test. It's just a friendly way to connect with the language. First, let's go back to that moment when the plane shook a little. That shaking, that feeling of the aircraft moving up and down unexpectedly because of the air is called turbulence. It's a very common word in flying. Think of it like a car driving over a slightly uneven road. It's the air currents moving around the plane. So, when the plane shakes because of the air, we say it's turbulence. Can you try saying it softly with me? Turbulence. One more time, nice and slow. Turbulence. Now, related to that, if there's a lot of turbulence during a flight, or even just some significant shaking, people often describe the experience as a bumpy ride. It's like you're on a road that isn't smooth at all, full of small hills and dips. So, a flight with a lot of shaking due to turbulence is a bumpy ride. It's a very natural, almost informal way to talk about it. Let's try that one together. Bumpy ride. And again, feeling the words. Bumpy ride. Next, let's talk about the wonderful people who make our flight possible. When you're on the plane, there are the pilots up front and the flight attendants who greet you, serve you, and help you with anything you need. All of these people who work on the airplane during a flight, pilots, flight attendants, everyone, are collectively called the one crew. They are the team. So, the people working on the plane are the crew. Eyes. Try saying it now, gently. Crew. And again, crew. Before every takeoff, you hear that important instruction. Please fasten your seatbelt. The word fasten means to attach something securely or to close something firmly. You have fasten your seatbelt when you click the two parts together. It's a verb that means to make something secure. It's often used with seatbelts, but you could also fasten a button on your shirt. Notice, the T in your fasten is usually silent. So, to attach securely, to close firmly, is to fasten. Let's say it, fasten. And once more, slowly, fasten. Now, when you need to use the bathroom on an airplane, the polite and official word for it is the lavatory. It sounds a little more formal than bathroom or toilet, and it's the word you'll almost always hear on an airplane. You might hear an announcement saying, "We kindly ask that you refrain from using the lavatory way during times of turbulence." The place where you can go to the bathroom on the plane is the My Lavatory. Take a breath and let's say it, lavatory. Gently again, lavatory. Before takeoff, you're always asked to put your carry-on bags either under the seat in front of you or in the overhead compartment. When you put your bag away safely and neatly in one of these places, you are stowing it. To stow. Something means to store it carefully, usually in a specific place. You might hear, "Please stow your cabin baggage under the seat in front of you." So, to store something safely is to stow it. Can you say stow with me? Stow. Once more, thoughtfully. Stow. The word refrain is a very polite and slightly formal way to say, "Please don't do something," or "Please hold back from doing something." You often hear it in formal announcements, like the one I mentioned earlier. We kindly ask that you refrain from using the lavatory during turbulence. It means they are politely asking you not to use it for safety reasons. So, to politely avoid doing something is to refrain from use. Let's try that phrase. Refrain from use. And slowly again. Refrain from. Remember that captain's announcement about the plane shaking? He said, "We're experiencing a patch of rough air." Cha. Here, awa patch means a small, limited area. So, awa patch of rough air is just a small section of the sky where the air is a bit turbulent or unstable. It sounds quite reassuring because it implies it's not a widespread or long-lasting problem, just a small area. So, a small area of unstable air is a chim patch of rough air, uwaf. Let's try to say that whole phrase smoothly. Patch of rough air, saim. Once more, feeling the words. Patch of rough air. And finally, if for some reason, like turbulence, the flight attendants need to stop offering drinks or food or any other service, they might say they need to suspend service. To la suspend, something means to temporarily stop it or to pause it. So if the turbulence is too strong, they might suspend service until it's safe to continue. It means the service isn't canceled, just pause for a while. So, to temporarily stop something is to suspend service. Try it now with a calm voice. Suspend service. And one last time. Suspend service. These words are truly the backbone of understanding and communicating effectively when you're flying. They might seem simple, but knowing them will make you feel so much more comfortable and confident in the air. Now that we have these wonderful words in our minds, let's think about how we put them together, how we weave them into requests and descriptions, especially when we're up in the sky. When we're on an airplane, it's often a very polite and formal environment. So the way we ask for things or describe what happened really matters. Today, I want to gently touch upon how we make those polite requests using what we call modal verbs. Don't worry about the term. Just think of them as soft, gentle ways to ask for what you need without sounding demanding. They help you sound kind and respectful, which is always lovely, isn't it? Imagine you feel a little thirsty on your flight. Instead of just saying, "Give me water," which would sound quite direct, we use a softer touch. We might say, "Excuse me, could I please have some water?" Or, if you feel a little chilly, "Excuse me, could I please get a blanket?" The word could here isn't about ability, but about politeness, making your request sound very gentle, almost like a question you already know the answer to, but you're asking respectfully. It's like you're opening a door for someone. So, when you need something and you want to be polite, you can begin with, "Could I please?" Let's try that phrase slowly in your mind. Could I please? Another beautiful way to make a very polite request, perhaps for something a little more significant, is to use the phrase, "Would it be possible to?" This one sounds even softer, even more considerate. For instance, if you wanted to move to a window seat that appears empty, you might ask, "Would it be possible to change seats?" Or, if your phone battery is very low and you see a charging port, you could ask the crew, "Would it be possible to charge my phone?" It's like you're exploring an option, not demanding a service. It's a lovely, gentle way to inquire. "Would it be possible to?" Try saying it softly. "Would it be possible to?" And of course, we talked about the mod lavatory sia. When you need to ask if you can use it, especially if the light is on or if the mikrues is busy, a very classic and polite way to ask is, "May I use the mod lavatory kias?" Now? "May I?" is a very traditional and formal way to ask for permission, and it fits perfectly in the quiet, formal atmosphere of a flight. So, for permission, we often use, "May I?" Gently say, May I? These polite forms are so valuable. They show respect, and they open doors for smoother communication, especially with the busy crew on an airplane. Now, let's also think about sharing our experiences after the flight, or even during it. How do we talk about something that happened? We use what we call the simple past tense. It's how we tell stories about things that are already finished, moments that are now memories. For example, when describing your flight, you might say, "It was a very smooth flight." The word was tells us that this smoothness is something that already happened. It's in the past. Or if you had a lot of turbulence, you might say, "There was a lot of turbulence," or "It was a bumpy ride." What? This helps you paint a clear picture of what occurred. You could also describe the people. The tow crew was really helpful. Or talking about yourself. I felt nervous during takeoff. Felt is the past of feel. These simple past forms allow us to recount our journeys, whether they were calm and beautiful or a little bit challenging. So remember, these forms help us to share what already took place. It was a smooth flight. I felt nervous. They are the building blocks of recounting your travel stories. Now let's gently bring all these pieces together. We've explored the words the crew uses and the calm, polite ways we can ask for things. This is where the magic happens, where the words transform from just sounds into tools you can use to connect, to share, to navigate your world, especially when you're up in the sky. Imagine this with me, very softly. You've just found your seat on the airplane, settled in, feeling that quiet anticipation. You hear that gentle, clear voice of the flight attendant. They begin with the familiar safety instructions. They say, "Please unfasten your seatbelt." Can you hear that word? Fasten? Fu? It means to secure it, to make it safe. Let's say it together, slowly, feeling the calm of the instruction. Please fasten your seatbelt. One more time, letting the words flow naturally. Please fasten your seatbelt. And then they might continue. Cabin baggage must be stowed under the seat in front of you or in the overhead bin. The word stowed means to put away carefully, to tuck it away. It's a very gentle word for storing something. Can you try saying "I'd stowed" with me very softly? Stowed. Now, let's put it into a phrase. Cabin baggage must be stowed. Feel how clear and simple that is. Now, let's imagine you need to ask for something. Perhaps you have a small carry-on bag, and you're looking for a good place to put it. You see a little space in the overhead bin, but you want to be polite when asking if you can use it. How would you ask? Remember our polite phrase from earlier? You might say, very gently, "Excuse me, could I please stow my bag here?" Let's try that together, letting the words drift out. Excuse me, could I please stow my bag here? One more time, with a kind, inquiring tone. Excuse me, could I please stow my bag here? Or maybe you're not sure at all where your bag should go. You could use an even softer, more exploratory question. Would it be possible to stow this in the overhead bin? Try saying that with me, like you're contemplating an option. Would it be possible to stow this in the overhead bin? It feels very considerate, doesn't it? Take a quiet moment. What was the first thing you remembered hearing when you last boarded a plane? How did you stow your personal items? Now, the flight is underway. You're cruising, perhaps reading or just gazing out the window at the clouds. Sometimes the journey is smooth, like gliding on a calm river. Other times, the air can be a little energetic. You might hear the pilot's voice, steady and reassuring, saying, "We're experiencing a patch of rough air." A patch is just a small area, like a little cloud, and rough air is that feeling of slight shakiness, that gentle jostle. Can you say, "A patch of rough air, Hoisin," with me? Feeling the words softly. Patch of rough air. They might also mention, "We anticipate some turbulence." Remember turbulence? That shaking, that feeling of the plane moving up and down, sometimes gently, sometimes a bit more noticeably. Let's say turbulence, very slowly, letting the syllables linger. Turbulence. And because of this, they'll often advise, "Please, remain seated." This means simply, don't stand up, stay in your seat for your safety. Let's repeat that together, calmly. Please remain seated. One more time, feeling the importance of the instruction. Please remain seated. Later, when you're recalling this flight, telling a friend about your journey, you might say, "There was a lot of turbulence," using our past tense to describe what happened. Or you might say, "It was a bumpy ride." The words "was" and "were" are like little anchors in time, telling us these things have already happened. Let's say, "It was a bumpy ride." You can almost feel that gentle shaking as you say it, can't you? And if you felt a bit uneasy during that, you could share, "I felt nervous during the turbulence." Let's try that, softly expressing the feeling. "I felt nervous during the turbulence, us." Take a quiet breath. How would you describe a flight where you experienced a patch of rough air? What did you feel during it? The journey continues to unfold. Sometimes, especially during those moments of turbulence, or when the crew is very busy with service, you might hear a specific announcement from the flight attendants. They might say, "We kindly ask that you refrain from using the B lavatory at this time." The word refrain is very polite and formal. It means to stop or to avoid doing something. So, they're politely asking you not to use the bathroom for a little while. Let's try saying, "Refrain from using the lavatory," letting the formality of the word settle. Refrain from using the lavatory. Or perhaps they announce, "We will temporarily suspend our in-flight service." To suspend means to pause, to stop for a period of time, usually for safety reasons. Let's say, "Suspend service," softly, "Suspend service." It's a very common phrase you might hear. Now, imagine the seatbelt sign has just turned off and you feel the need to stretch your legs and use the lavatory. How would you politely ask if it's okay to go? Remember that very classic and polite way to ask for permission? You could say, very gently, "May I use the lavatory now?" Try it, feeling the politeness in the word may. "May I use the lavatory now?" And a little later, you might feel a bit thirsty. How would you ask the crew for a drink using our polite requests? "Excuse me, could I please have some water?" Practice that gentle request, letting it feel natural. "Excuse me, could I please have some water?" Think about your own quiet wishes on a long flight. What would you most likely ask the crew for? And finally, we've landed. What a journey it has been, full of new words and gentle expressions. Sometimes, the flight is simply perfect, and you might say, with a soft sigh of contentment, "It was a smooth flight. Let's say that, feeling the calmness of the words. It was a smooth flight. You might even add with a warm feeling. The crew was really helpful. Try saying that about a good experience. The crew was really helpful. But sometimes travel has its little challenges, even after the plane has touched down. Imagine you're at the baggage claim, waiting, and your suitcase just isn't appearing on the carousel. This can be a frustrating moment, can't it? You might say, with a hint of worry, "My suitcase is missing." Say it with me, softly acknowledging the problem. "My suitcase is missing." Or perhaps your plane didn't take off on time, leading to a long wait. You'd explain, we're delayed at the gate." Let's try that, using the past tense. We were delayed at the gate. And if the delay stretched on for what felt like forever, you could say, we were delayed for over 2 hours. Say that slowly, feeling the stretch of time. We were delayed for over 2 hours. In these challenging moments, you often need to ask for help or for information. How would you inquire about your missing bag? You could approach an airport official and ask, gently but clearly, "Excuse me, where can I report lost baggage?" Try that, picturing yourself asking the question, "Excuse me, where can I report lost baggage?" And if you missed a connecting flight because of a long delay, you might need assistance rebooking. How would you ask for that help? "Can someone help me rebook my flight?" Let's say it with a hopeful tone. "Can someone help me rebook my flight?" Take a moment. Think about a time you faced a small problem while traveling. How did you feel? And now, how would you express that feeling and ask for help in English? "I felt a little lost," or "I was a bit worried." These quiet moments of practice, these little scenarios we've walked through together, are where real English comes alive. It's not just about knowing words in your head. It's about feeling them, about using them to express your real-life experiences and needs. I truly encourage you, my dear listener, to take a few quiet minutes after this episode. Perhaps sit with a warm cup of tea, or simply close your eyes and reflect. Think about these phrases, these words. Maybe even write down a few sentences in a small notebook, a journal if you have one. Describe your ideal flight using our new words. It was a smooth flight, and the crew was very helpful. Or perhaps describe a flight that was a little challenging. There was a lot of turbulence, and I felt nervous. Use these words. Play with them gently. Practice asking those polite questions to yourself, even if it's just in your mind. Could I please have a moment of quiet? Would it be possible to just relax for a bit? The more you gently connect these words and phrases to your own experiences, your own quiet feelings, the more natural and confident you'll become with them. Remember, it's not about achieving perfection. It's about connection. It's about building those quiet, strong bridges in your mind between the English words and your everyday life, making them feel like a natural part of you. And so, here we are, gently landing our little language airplane, returning from our journey through the clouds of English. Remember that feeling we spoke about at the very beginning? That quiet hum of the engine, the world unfolding beneath you, the gentle sway of the plane? It's a unique feeling, isn't it? A feeling of being in transit, but also for a little while suspended between worlds. Just like those flights, our journey with English has its moments. Sometimes it feels like a wonderfully smooth flight, where words come easily and everything just flows. And other times, perhaps there's a little turbulence, bumpy ride, where a new word feels difficult or a sentence doesn't quite come out right. But the beautiful thing is, every time we practice, every time we gently try, we're becoming more confident. We're learning to navigate not just the skies, but also the conversations that happen within them. We're building that quiet strength to say, the crew was really helpful, or I felt nervous during takeoff, and truly express ourselves. That feeling of confidence is like the gentle touchdown after a long journey. It's peaceful and it's deeply satisfying. It's about understanding, yes, but more deeply, it's about feeling more at home in the language, connecting those English words to your everyday life, to your experiences, to your own quiet thoughts and feelings. Thank you so much, my dear listener, for sharing this journey with me today. It means the world to know that these quiet moments of learning are resonating with you. If this episode helped you feel even a tiny bit more confident in your English today, I would be so grateful if you gently shared it with someone else who is also learning. Until next time, please take the very best care of yourself and keep learning one gentle word at a time.